Ho, 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 and Merry Christmas. That's not going to make sense in a couple of weeks. Hello, and welcome down to Do Go On a Podcast with myself. And I am Mr. Dave Warnocky. And I am joined, as always, by Mr. Matt Stewart. It's a very formal episode this week. Hello, Matt.
Hi, Mr. Dave.
Hello, Mr. Matt.
How's it going?
I'm about to stuff this up because I always get confused between Miss and Ms. We have Miss/Ms. Jess Perkins. Hello, Jess.
Hello, Mr. Dave and Mr. Matt. Mr. Dave. I'm also not sure the difference between Ms. and Miss. I think Ms. is just like an unmarried one.
Ms is like the equivalent of Mr., I think. It doesn't mean you're married or unmarried.
Yeah.
And Miss means unmarried.
Miss is generally
Mrs.
like a
means
younger
married.
woman too. And I don't know where I sit in terms of age.
I find it because I always get worried that I'm going to offend someone by implying that they're a Ms. or I still don't know.
No, I don't know. Good call though. Good option in
Let's
just saying
research
both.
that. We'll do a 45-minute episode on the difference between Ms. and Ms. later on. And I should
It
say...
is strange, right, that there is an extra option for the ladies than there is for the gents. We miss out yet again.
When will society evolve to help out men?
Yeah.
The downtrodden.
Oh no, I'm with you. I'm with you. You know, I'm a big supporter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Men's rights.
It's about time.
Yeah. I'm one of the
About time.
few who's on your side. Okay, don't lump me in with those other women.
Anyway.
Thanks, Ms. Anyway, now I said ho, 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 Merry Christmas at the start of this
Oh,
episode.
yeah, what was that all about?
Well, Matt, if you haven't heard the show before, if you just love Christmas and you've clicked on some sort of link because you want to hear a Christmassy show, then fear not, it will be Christmas. But what happens is we take it in turns to write a report on a topic of our choosing. And then the other two generally don't know what it's going to be about. And we don't know the exact topic,
But Matt's
but
alluded
Matt has
to the fact.
said that it will be some sort of Christmassy show.
Yeah, I thought seeing as we're coming up to Christmas, I might do a Christmas-ish one. I think knowing that it is Christmassy, this question, I should have thought of a better question
Okay.
because it's going to be pretty clear. Say, imagine that you didn't know this was about Christmas.
All
What
right.
would you say if I asked, who has the all-time record for most home invasions?
Pardon?
That is brilliant. Tooth Fairy, obviously.
Straight in there.
No, that's
Tooth
Christmas
Fairy.
related.
Yeah, Tooth Fairy, that's good because...
You got more teeth. You'd lose them throughout the year.
Yeah.
I think you fucked it.
Some sort of...
Only the Tooth Fairy isn't real, Jeff.
So we're talking about real people here.
Oh, I'm
that's
sorry,
right.
of
We're talking
course.
about... who are we talking about? Some sort of cat burgling man?
So are you just...
There are a few different ones around the world, but I'm talking about Santa Claus.
Coming to town. So I've heard. So Santa Claus.
Santa is our
I think
topic. That's great.
So Tooth Fairy, is that as universal as Santa? Maybe...
I'm not sure.
So maybe Santa does have more home invasions.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
Does
I
too.
did look up.
There's others around the world.
Yeah, there are a few different
You
ones.
better say I did look up the statistics on Santa's
No, I looked,
On
criminal
home
records.
invasions, yeah.
I looked up the Tooth Fairy, and I saw there was an interesting study, and it asked, because, the Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, most people have a certain picture in their mind.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Tooth Fairy, they asked, what does the Tooth Fairy look like? And I think it said 72% said female,
Oh, wow.
which is,
I would have said higher.
yeah, right. And then about 12 said neither a man or a woman.
Oh.
And
Yeah,
then
fairy. It's the third box that you can
Yeah,
tick these
yeah.
days.
Yeah.
And then someone, I think the last one was like, who gives a shit? And
Yeah.
that had about 8%. That's the one I
But
took.
you're right. There is sort of a pretty distinct picture of what Santa looks like.
Yeah,
Cool.
did you guys believe as kids?
Did.
Did you? You did? I want to probably finish with, I want to hear about how you found out that he
Okay.
wasn't, just so parents have a lot of time to turn off. We'll finish with that. But what
Good
was
call.
your relationship like with Santa growing up?
Terrified, and I wouldn't get my photo taken with him at the shopping centres.
Oh,
I was
you
scared
wouldn't-
of him.
Wow.
I would just cry. Now, as a 25-year-old, I go and get my photo taken with Santa.
You're straight on that
It's a
lap.
tradition now. Oh, yeah, I'm like, all right, Santa, here's what I want.
Yeah.
Razor scooter. Barbie. And he's like, get off me. Madam, please leave.
fresh out. Fresh out of
Madam,
the
there's
roses.
Madam.
another one.
Ms., get off my knee. And
Yeah,
you're like,
Ms.
hang on.
Yeah.
Please, Santa.
Santa. I've
I
got a
thought you-
list.
I thought
Santa,
you knew
I'm not done.
I thought you knew everyone's names. Come on, mate.
I've been very good this year. Dave, what was your relationship with Santa?
I'm trying to think about. I've seen photos of me on his lap, so I think that I wasn't too scared, and I was very obsessed with getting free presents once a year.
Free presents.
That's
When do
right.
you have to pay for
Getting
your
a
own
gift.
presents?
Well, my birthday, of course, had to supply my own party food.
That's normal,
I'm
isn't it?
normal, isn't it?
really interested in seeing a picture of you as a child because now what I can imagine is basically what you look like right now.
Oh, I found a great photo which I can show you after the show, and I may even post it to the listeners. It's a great one. It's the most 1990s photo I could find. It's me, age 6, at the pancake parlour, which was a big tradition.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing with a Captain Planet toy,
Great.
a Transformer, a wrestler, and Play-Doh.
You had so many toys.
And I'm dressed as a Power Ranger.
Oh
So
my
the
god.
green one.
I need to. Were you a blonde kid too?
No, I was pretty brown.
Pretty brown. Just imagine you.
Pretty
I'm
brown.
literally just imagining you, but shorter, like just a tiny version of what
Oh.
you look like now.
I weighed quite a similar weight. I
Wow,
will
there you
say.
go. Matt,
I've been the same weight class my whole life.
What Dave does these shows, as you probably know, Jess, where one of the it's a fact-based show and it's a quiz show.
Hold
and
on,
one
no,
of-
there's no. It's called Facty Fact, but
but
there's
no fact. Sorry,
fact.
good point. It's a
It's-
fact-based
it's just-
name,
Yeah, fact-based name, no fact-based game.
and one of the rounds is you've got to guess whether something weighs
Yeah.
more or less than
Yes,
Dave, and then
the
there's a
game's
bunch
it's
of
called
them.
heavier, lighter, or the same as me, and I weigh 52 kilograms.
What were some of the things that weighed the same as you?
Gwen Stefani, from No Doubt.
just how confidently he says it.
So there's not many things that it's hard when you Google 50. When I Google things that weigh 52 kilos, I find forums, and it's mainly teenage girls posting, "I weigh 52 kilos. Am I fat?"
Oh.
And you just reply,
Hey, I'm 25 and a man, and I'm pretty happy with where I'm at.
I'm feeling good.
Makes them feel better.
Now, what was your relationship with Santa?
I loved it. I was a big fan,
Mm.
and I believed for a long time.
Little too long, perhaps?
Maybe a little too long, yeah. But I don't think anything's really met that sort of excitement
Yeah,
as a kid.
that wonder.
Yeah. I think the closest thing to it now is what I experienced recently, and that is this music festival I go to every year. And the night before feels somewhat like Christmas Eve as a child.
Yeah.
It's the
Because
best.
you don't get that as an adult as much. So it's nice when you do feel excitement for something.
Yeah. You have anything like that?
Nah, my life's really dull.
I just remember that my relationship with Santa as an adult has been pretty turbulent because when I left high school, my first job when I was 19 was
Tell me you're an elf. Tell me you're an elf.
oh well, I did the elf for a bit, so I did kids parties, and then I got graduated to Santa, and I have to wear a fat suit because I
52 kilos
because I weigh
Santa.
52
Heavier
kilos.
than you.
I know, and I weigh 52 kilos, so I've got the fat suit on, but it doesn't do the arms or the legs, so I look like I've got like
You
fake
basically look
arms.
like I do now.
Oh, I looked way worse. And then one day I locked my keys in my car when I was in between parties in the city here in Melbourne, and I couldn't think what to do, so because I was already dressed in the outfit, but I couldn't get to the next gig, so I took all my gear and everything, like the Santa sack, out to top of Burke Street, and I'm trying to wave a taxi down, and they just aren't stopping. They're just waving back, like, "Hello, Santa." I'm like, "Stop, you fucking bastard! There's kids out in Moorabbin that need me. Come on!" And they're all just waving. So bad. And I
so
was the
great.
worst Santa. My God. And one time my pants fell down when I was dressed as Santa because the
Because
costume was.
you weigh
the youngest,
52
skinniest
kilos.
Santa of all time.
Yeah.
And then when I put on the accents, people always thought I was
What's the accent?
like a ho
Oh,
ho ho
oh,
voice.
oh.
They thought I was sounding bloody Scottish.
Oh,
What is that accent?
it's not really an accent. It's more like it's
It's an old man
piece of-
voice.
Yeah. Do you see that there was a video that went around recently of a little girl on Santa's lap, and her mum says to Santa like, "Oh, she's deaf," and he goes, "Oh, does she sign?" And then Santa's like signing to her and asking her what she wants for Christmas in sign language because that Santa knew how to sign.
That's so great.
Oh, it was so sweet.
All Santas should know all languages.
Agreed.
Technically.
Agreed. If you're gonna be a Santa, you
That's,
gotta-
that's why I was fired. I just didn't know Arabic. Could not answer.
You know how we were like, let's not fuck around this episode. Let's get straight into it.
Yeah, we've
Yes.
fucked around. Don't worry, all of that will be edited out.
Oh,
That doesn't help you getting to the gig you're late for, but actually it does the exact opposite of that. Okay, good. So so the Santa as he is now, he began a couple of thousand years ago, pretty much. He's
2,000 years old.
He's something like that.
He
Yeah.
looks pretty good.
I mean, Santa
I know,
Claus
I
isn't,
mean-
but the beginning of the Santa Claus story kind of is. Okay, so I kind of like this description I found on Snopes. It sort of sums up pretty quickly the modern Santa Claus, right? Okay, so this is the quote. Santa Claus is a hybrid, a character descended from a religious figure in St. Nicholas, whose physical appearance and backstory were created and shaped by many different hands over the course of years until he finally coalesced into a now familiar / secular character
You're going to say sexy.
of a jolly and sexy, rotund, red and white garbed father figure who oversees a North Pole workshop manned by elves and travels in a sleigh pulled by 8 reindeer to deliver toys to children all around the world every Christmas Eve. So that's the package.
Never heard of him.
But you'd be familiar with all those elements, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's such a massive thing, isn't
And
it?
it's kind of interesting where like bits and pieces were picked up over time. So you'd hear him referred to as Saint Nick a bit, right?
Yeah.
And that's because Saint Nick was a real guy. He was a real guy, a real saint guy.
What?
Yeah. Yep.
Who was this
First
Saint
fact
Nick?
I've dropped on you. How about I talk to you a little bit about Saint Nicholas?
Okay.
Please do go on.
I'm going to go on. Okay. So Saint Nicholas was born near Myra in the ancient seaport city of Patara, which is in modern times is located in Turkey. So he was born around 270 or 280 AD. So that's not 2,000 years ago, but
Close.
close-ish. If we're rounding up to the nearest thousand,
Yeah.
which I'd like to. That's what I do in most things,
Yeah.
day to day.
That's right. Technically, we're all 1,000 years old if we were to round up.
Dave
to our
actually
closest
weighs
1,000.
1,000
Yeah.
kilograms.
And technically, you both owe me $1,000.
We'll talk after the show, my God.
Oh. The legend is that he gave away all of his wealth, and he travelled around helping the poor and the sick. So he was a good guy. That's what the legend says, anyway. I mean, I haven't
How do we
met
know?
anyone who knew him, so
Yeah.
you can't know for sure. By about the year 1200,
Just a casual 1,000 years later.
1,000
Yep.
years later, he became known as a patron of children and magical gift bringer because of 2 great stories from his life. So he had these two fables or 2 legends. Obviously, again, when you hear them, you're going to be like, I don't fully believe these things happened, but one of them could be true. And they were talked about by this guy, Jerry Bowler. He authored a book called Santa Claus, A Biography.
Oh, that's
I
great.
just like the idea that he's just like in his 50s and he still hasn't found out.
Yeah.
Still thinks
I
it's
was
real.
getting so
and he's
close
just
to that.
like trying to do research at the library, like just looking into the backstory of that really famous man, Santa Claus. And the librarian's like, oh God, this is.
Oh, how do we tell him?
I need to sit this guy down.
So she gives him all the books that they have on Santa Claus, and they're all kids' picture books.
So now I'm
And
looking
he's
for
like, "What are you hiding?"
She sees them coming from coming through the front door. She's quickly putting him into the non-fiction, just scurrying.
Don't tell him. No, just leave him. Leave him.
It's a sweet thing. So one of the stories is that he saved 3 sisters from being sold as slaves or prostitutes by their poverty-stricken father.
God, why haven't we heard this Santa story before?
And he did that by giving them a dowry, which meant that they could be married. So he gave the dad,
Oh wow.
doesn't say what the dowry is, a couple of cows or something.
Sure.
Some cash.
So you could marry him off instead of selling them.
Yeah. Which
Wow.
is like,
A slight upgrade.
it's a slight upgrade.
So,
But
so he's technically sort of bought them at the same time. That's kind of weird. Anyway, okay. He's a great guy. Great
kind
guy.
of like a
no, I don't
he's
think he
kinda like a
bought them
pimp.
because he didn't take them. He just allowed them. I mean, and he's assuming that the dad would have done that. Not the poverty-stricken dad didn't just go, I'm still going to sell them and keep this dowry.
Yeah.
Win-win. Apart from, obviously, the 3 daughters of mine who are going to lose in a really big way. And that's not even funny, and I'm sorry. Okay.
I shouldn't have laughed then.
Well, they lived a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Where do you draw the line? Too soon? Another story, apparently that story is quite well known. I'd never heard of it.
No,
but
I'd never heard
the
it.
other story was less well known. But Bowler said, Bowler? Where did he get that family name from? So Bowler said it was quite well known in the Middle Ages, though. Since then it's dropped off.
Hear
And
about that bloke? Yep. Bought those 3 girls with a dowry. Top bloke.
Top bloke. That's how they speak in the Middle Ages.
Yeah,
All right.
that's pretty. That's standard Turkish, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So this other story, Nicholas entered an inn and realised that the 3 boys of the owner of this inn had
another
been
3.
murdered.
Oh.
And he pickled their dismembered bodies in brine, in barrels full of brine.
Sure.
So, what?
Okay,
I'm just going to stop you there.
He pickled them, Dave.
So he noticed
Do keep
someone's
up.
parents were dead, so he pickled the children? Is that-
Well, I haven't explained that very well.
No, the kids were dead.
The kids were there. He walked in.
Dead kids.
And the dad was like, he's just hanging out with the dad. And he's like...
What's that you got over there?
"There's
Oh,
some-"
my
and
dead
he,
kids.
He sensed something was a bit off. And he uncovered this mystery of the bodies in the barrel. The original bodies in the barrel.
And he said, well, what you need there is some brine.
No, he resurrected them. Brought them back to life.
What?
Oh, okay, sorry, I thought...
Yeah, I thought you just pickled them.
So the killers pickled them.
So, okay.
Wait,
All right, let's start that
the
again.
killer has pickled them.
So he's gone into...
Nick
Is the
pickled
dad
no one.
Is the dad secretly the killer? That's what I'm worried about.
No, the dad's the killer. Yeah, the dad's the
Oh.
killer.
Okay, the dad pickled the kids.
The dad's pickled the kids.
And is it... And as Saint
And
Nicholas,
Nick's like,
he's come
I'm
in
gonna unpickle.
and is he
Nicholas
talking?
like,
No
something's a bit
pickle
off
for
here.
Nickel.
No pickle for Nick. He's not into it.
Hashtag
he had
no
that,
pickle for Nickel.
he had that tattooed on his neck. So that's how people knew.
And he was like, hang on, there's something a bit off with this tattoo.
Yeah. But
This
yeah.
tattoo.
So when the dad who was into pickling his kiddles, he came in and went, "Oh no, it's Nick, the guy who hates pickled kids. I'm in for it." But anyway, he just went, "Hey, that's wrong.
Don't pickle your kids.
Don't pickle your kids. It's nearly rule number 1 of parenthood. Don't pickle your kids."
Oh, God.
And he brought him back to life.
And then what?
Then the dad probably just killed him again.
And then
Did he saw the dad out? I want to know.
and then he pickled the dad.
Did you really?
Well, I mean, none of this actually happened, surely. I'm telling you that a real person brought some kids who were chopped up back to life.
That didn't happen?
Well, I mean, it was written down.
Prove that it didn't matter.
Nah,
Yeah.
good point.
Prove
I can't do it. So anyway, because he unpickled the kids, he became the patron saint of children.
Pickles.
And
No, of
pickles.
pickles.
No, he was the
He
arch
hates
enemy
pickles,
of
no.
pickles.
And that's
No
why
pickle for Nickel.
And that's why cheeseburgers at McDonald's are served with 2 pieces of pickle in celebration of Saint Nickel.
Oh, you knew that? Yeah, that was the next paragraph.
Sorry.
Oh,
That
God.
was
Sorry,
the
I'm
next
guessing it
paragraph that Jerry Bowler went on to talk about.
Yeah.
Go
Jerry
ahead,
Ballard.
Jerry.
Clearly, nothing wrong with him.
He's fine. Jerry's fine.
So there's 2 levels there. There's a guy who's just seen 3 women that are about to
He
be sold to
hasn't.
slavery, and then
Yes.
he's put a dowry, and then there's a guy who's resurrected 3.
Yeah, that's right. So he had a lot of miracles attributed to him. He was a big miracle man. That's why, like, you used to have to, or you still might have to do at least 2 miracles to become a saint.
Yeah, but
Or
that's
to
what I
be
thought.
martyred, I think.
I thought
I think they're the rules.
to become a saint, you have to prove to be done 2 miracles, I believe.
Yeah.
But giving a dowry
That's
is
so-
probably not a miracle.
Well, that wasn't. I think there was other miracles. Apparently he had a whole bag full of miracles.
Did he only do things in groups of 3, like 3 daughters, 3
Yeah,
sons?
he was a big fan of 3.
You saw a blind man. I'm not going to help you out, mate, unless you find
You
2
bring a-
brothers
you
with
bring
the
a
same
couple of mates.
You got
condition.
2 blind mates? Come and see me.
Sounds more poetic that
You
way.
like pickles? I got heaps of them.
A couple of barrels full of pickles.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, the kids. I don't know. He said they were resurrected, but he didn't say anything about them being unpickled. So maybe they
still
lived
in-
out their
They're
lives.
still in pieces.
Yeah,
Pickled pieces.
pickled pieces.
Oh.
No, what a brutal existence that would have been.
No,
Yeah, St.
thank you.
Nicholas
Probably
is so
not
nice after all.
better.
Kids would have been brutal at school though, wouldn't they?
Oh, yeah.
Ugh. I had a hard enough time with red hair.
Jeez, imagine being pickled.
Can't imagine rocking up first
Well,
day as a pickled boy.
Imagine your name rhyming with gherkin and being pickled. I'd be bloody murdered.
Yeah.
Oh, you'd be merkant. Please do go on, Matt. Save me, save me.
Be merkened, turned into a pubic
He said save him, not make it worse.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
that's right.
Yep. So he died on the 6th of December, sometime around 343, the year 343.
A
Is that
good
how you
year.
say those
A good
years?
year.
343.
343 is fine, yeah.
Around the year 343. So the 6th of December became his feast day.
He wasn't very old then. Oh, wait. Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was
He was quite old. I'm sorry. Yeah, I can't do maths. He was very old.
He had to have time to grow a bit. Did he have this beard that we all know?
Yeah, probably. I don't think big razors had been invented yet,
Yeah,
so
no,
I think
good
they all
point.
did. How did they used to shave? Rocks, I guess.
They would have had knives or something, right?
Oh,
Like
they would have had
something sharp.
knives. Yeah, he probably just cut them off with a knife and fork.
Just cut it off. Just hack it off. Like a sword. They would have had swords.
Oh, they would have had swords.
Yeah, we could just use
Did
that.
they have swords?
I don't
yeah,
know.
the Romans had swords, right, Dave?
Swords have been around for many a year.
If you had a
So-
sword, you would have had a smaller swords.
Just
Shaving swords.
Just the shaving swords.
Look, I didn't research swords. I
Well,
barely researched
First
Santa.
mistake.
Probably just rub your face against a brick. You know that classic method?
That's how I
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, that's the old one. And God, you look great.
Thank
yeah.
No, not a hair
Exfoliate
in
at the same
sight.
time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that date, the 6th of December, was seen, and is still by some people seen as a lucky day, and a good day to get married for a long time.
Oh.
6th of December.
All right.
Yeah.
Keep it in mind.
Because a guy died that day. It's seen as, talk about dancing
Yeah.
on someone's grave.
Well, it's like how we celebrate Easter. Yeah, it's Jesus
that's
died.
the day he rose.
Oh, yeah.
Good Friday.
Good
Look,
Friday he died.
you know I went to Christian school.
Yeah, so did I.
All right.
And I should
Don't-
know
Oh,
better.
bloody me being the big heathen over here.
Oh.
Ugh, this
I'm just
guy.
sitting in the corner shaving with a brick. Got nothing going on.
Go back to your bricks.
St. Nicholas,
got the
he
Lord.
also,
Yeah, that's right. The Lord's on your corner.
his other miracle was he would shave people at a really reasonable price. What a miracle! Only $2.
What a bargain.
Yeah, he had a huge queue
Come down
every
to
day.
Nick's Bargain Barber.
It's got a great ring to it.
I'll shave your face and pickle your kid.
You know,
Wait, he didn't pickle the kids. I feel like you're getting tripped up on this.
No.
He resurrect.
Okay,
I'll
I'll
resurrect
unpickle
your
your
pick-
kids.
Well, I didn't say that either.
Sorry, I'll resurrect your semi-pickled kids.
I'll pick your peck of pickles peppers.
So I'll resurrect, like, you know, resurrecting sort of, it can mean like bringing it back to life, right? That's what sort of. So maybe
So what do you mean
maybe
it
he
can
just
mean?
turned
Isn't that
it.
the only meaning?
It can and does mean. So maybe when he said he resurrected it, maybe he thought, you know, like you resurrect, like someone has burnt the toast and you resurrect it by scraping some of it off. Maybe he's just turned it into another meal.
You know what? Maybe they were just having a nap. You know when
Yeah.
people sort of joke like, "Oh, she's resurrected." If you had a really long sleep,
Yeah,
maybe the kids are just asleep, but he
in
woke
a
them up.
barrel of brine.
He just had like something just banging some pots and pans together, waking the kids up. I think we're giving him too much credit.
Yeah.
Here we are like, oh, he saved some kids' lives and
Bloody
unpickled them.
It's hardly
Well, you
a
know
miracle.
what? I believe it's more
I can wake a
likely
kid up.
that in the year 300 he had pots and pans and he was banging them together. Then
Yeah.
he resurrected a couple of
Oh,
briny children
Well,
in a barrel.
mystery solved.
Give me your address. I'll come over and I'll wake up your kid one day and we'll see how hard it is.
Eternal life.
Eternal life. Wake up! He's awake. Great. I'm a god.
You're a god. Here's the thing. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica,
Oh.
his existence is not attested by any historical document. So nothing certain is known about his life apart from the fact. I love how this is written. So nothing certain is known of his life except that he was probably Bishop of Myra in the 4th century. Nothing is certain.
But
This is either the way I've totally transcribed it or just written it down like an idiot. Nothing is certain
except a very
Except-
specific fact.
Yeah. But
is
probable.
probably.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but
Anyways,
that's not certain.
So
That
he's a
makes
bishop.
sense.
So there's a bishop as well.
Cool.
What is certain is that he was probably a bishop. Okay, good.
Thank God that's cleared up.
He was buried in his church at Myra, and in the 6th century, his shrine there had become quite well known. After the first millennium, around 1087, is that what we'll call that year? 1087, Italian sailors or merchants stole his alleged remains from Myra and took them to Bari in Italy. this removal greatly increased the saint's popularity in Europe.
Was it just a marketing campaign?
It was a marketing campaign.
It's like when the Mona Lisa went missing.
Yeah, that's
Exactly. It's all. Oh, so they didn't steal his bones.
Well, they did.
Oh, they did.
They did steal his bones. Yeah, his bones were stolen, allegedly. So, I mean, they assume... I mean, this could be anyone, right? I think they think it is.
Yeah, they get in there at the crypt and there's like 100 bodies. They're like, oh, just grab the first one on the
But
right.
he was the
Just grab
bishop,
it.
so I think he had a special burial spot. So it
yeah.
was... I think it was pretty clearly marked. It wasn't like a big pile of bishop bodies that they had to sort through.
Throw it in the bishop hole.
But became a super popular spot. There was a lot of pilgrimages there, pilgrimi there in the
Pilgrimage.
11th century.
But are people cracking the shits back at home that his body's been stolen?
I think cracking the shits was also the technical term then. as
Exactly.
well.
Yeah, they bloody cracked
And
it.
is this in Turkey as I'm... So he was from in Turkey.
He was buried in Turkey.
And then
it wasn't Turkey at the time.
The merchants took him back to Italy.
Yeah, that's right.
But did he have any affinity with Italy?
Fitterly.
Well, I mean, he was a Christian saint, and Italy is like
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's enough to justify getting... Yeah,
they're
cool.
like they're big into all that gear. So I think that was a big part of why. In the Middle Ages, he became the patron saint of Russia, of Greece, of charitable fraternities and guilds, of children, of sailors, which maybe is because they stole him. Unmarried girls,
Specific.
which I would imagine is most girls, but maybe not at the time. Merchants, just in case that was who stole him.
What
I
about
suppose.
unmarried female merchants?
Pawnbrokers,
Oh.
and of such cities as Freiburg in Switzerland and Moscow.
Well, am I led to believe that they're really struggling? There's not enough saints to go around at
There are
the
heaps
time.
of saints, but he was very popular. Everyone wanted a piece of him. He was like the most loved saint of the time.
It's the
Super
Elvis
popular.
Presley of saints.
For a guy who was dead 800 years, he was he was the Elvis Presley of saints. If Elvis was a guy who was
Yeah,
still
exactly.
popular 800 years
And
after
didn't
he
die
died.
on the
and was-
toilet.
Yeah. Well,
Prove
nothing
that-
said
exactly.
about that.
Prove that he didn't jizz.
I like this little thing I found. There was a little while in the Middle Ages where a custom came about that had a boy being elected as bishop on St. Nicholas Day, the 6th of December, and he would reign until the Feast of the Holy Innocents on December 28th. So
So
a
22
boy,
2 days at the top.
a little boy would become bishop just at random.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
For
I'm imagining
For
him in his
nearly a-
little
for
bishop
nearly
hat.
like
3 weeks.
And his
for
little
3 weeks,
bishop
a big
robe.
chunk of the year.
Oh, and then he has to go have a nap because he's all tired from bishoping. Oh, it's so cute.
And then what happens? They have to pickle him?
Yeah, then I
And they
think they
pickle him.
throw him down the bishop because he's not bishop anyway. He
Throw
gets
him in the
thrown down
bishop
bishop hole. And
God, imagine peaking at like 6 years old. You know? Like you'll never be better than that.
Oh my God.
imagine that, Dave.
It's
Where
the-
were you at
he's-
6
I
years
kind of
old?
peaked
Yeah,
at
these-
18. That was
These are
bad
the
enough.
these are the child stars of the 14th century.
Yeah. Wow.
And they just get into drugs,
Drugs.
Yeah.
obscurity.
Then they do a nude shoot
They
because
just
they
get
feel like
desperate.
it'll help their image like as an adult. Like stop thinking of me as a child, but it's just worse. It makes it so much worse.
just
Sometimes
get a-
it pays off sexifying yourself.
They
Miley
just-
Cyrus did it.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's
but
the-
see, it
Just-
didn't work for Nikki Webster,
Justin
you know?
Timberlake, did he do it? Feels
Let's
like
say
he was
yes.
he was a Disney guy and he began sexifying himself. No, justifying himself.
Mm.
Sorry.
Another surefire way to get yourself back onto the main stage
Yeah,
is to
justify.
justify your talent.
Just be talented.
Who else? It's got to have worked for some people. Child stars have made it as adult stars. Miley Cyrus,
Well,
Justin Timberlake.
sure. Ryan Gosling.
Oh, he was a child.
He was
star.
He was
He
once
was.
a child.
he performed in the Mickey Mouse Club.
That was where Juzzy T was from as well.
Yeah, yeah.
No
I
shit.
don't think he's ever been referred to as Juzzy T ever.
Well,
Which
he
I
has,
love.
because I have a lot. Juzzy T.
Oh, Jozzy.
Well, that's weird. What do you call him? Anyway, off topic.
Probably, I call him Justin Timberlake personally. That's what I call him.
When I'm on the phone to him, I
Yeah.
should
Hello,
just say
Justin Timberlake. And he's like, you can just call me Justin. I'm like, nah.
Nah, I like saying it out loud when
Call
I'm.
me Juzzy T.
Just call me Juzzy T.
Matt does.
I shan't be doing that, Justin Timberlake. Thank you.
I like saying it out loud when I'm in public, so people know I'm on the phone
Yeah,
to you,
and-
Justin Timberlake.
And please also refer to me only as Jessica and Elizabeth Perkins the third. Thank you. I'm not really a third, but I add it. Matt's face lit up just then.
Well, it just made me think, you'd work really well in a St. Nicholas miracle scheme.
Yeah.
There's 3 of you.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Good point. But no.
Are your ancestors still kicking?
No.
No, well, maybe he can bring them back to life.
Bring
Or put them into a nice
Nice
burger or something.
Pickle. Okay.
All right. After the Protestant Reformation, which is a big thing in the church, St. Nick's popularity started to wane. Basically, all the saints did. They stopped lifting up the saints. It was about God and Jesus now.
Forget the saints.
All the humans can get fucked.
We're taking it back to the basics.
Yeah.
The big 2.
So, yeah, St. Nick lost out in popularity there.
Yeah. He lost to God.
Yeah, God.
Well, you've got to be beaten by someone.
I'd happily lose to God.
Yeah, I reckon he probably would have too. Like, if he really was a guy who cared about that stuff, I
He'd be
reckon he
like,
would have been like,
"Good.
yeah, that probably makes
Good
sense.
decision. Yeah.
For a while there, he was bigger than Jesus, but then
Yeah.
Saint Nick
Yeah. Bloody.
catches up with you.
And this happened nearly all the way through Europe. He just like
So
he
even
went
r-
from being talked about a lot. His death date was celebrated. His feast day, they called it. There's a bit of spin there. Death date. And but yeah, all of a sudden, nearly instantly, it dropped off.
Even
And
Russia dropped him.
even Russia, but the Netherlands did not.
They never lost faith in him.
Netherlands stuck on, and that is where Sinterklaas came about. Which is kind of the Dutchifying of the name St. Nicholas.
And when's this?
This is in the last 1,000 years.
That's fine. We only ran up to the thousands in
Yeah,
this podcast
That's
anyway.
what I'm saying,
so
yeah.
Yep, great. I'm on
We're
board.
not about specifics in this fact-based podcast.
Oh no, my God.
No.
Sinterklaas
Sinterklaas.
is also known as these 3 other names in the Netherlands. See if you can guess what they translate to. The Sint?
The Saint.
Saint.
Correct. All right, good.
Was
The-
that it? No.
The good Sint?
The good saint.
Yes.
Oh,
Very
Oh my
good.
God, do you speak Dutch?
I do actually. Yeah. I've
And-
travelled.
I might not be pronouncing them perfectly.
No, Richard.
And thirdly, another
What is rule of 3?
rule
Okay.
of 3.
And look at how many people present this
He was
podcast.
also a really good stand-up comedian.
Yeah, he knew about the rule of
Nick.
3.
Yeah. And thirdly, the good Heiligman.
Sorry, how do you spell the Halig part of this?
Heilig. The G might be signed.
The good Heilig man.
The
Holy?
good. Yes, the good holy man. I reckon I could speak Dutch.
It's pretty
Based
good,
on that,
isn't it?
Yeah.
yes, I agree.
Sinterklaas. I'd like to think that's how it's pronounced. Good. Sinterklaas is celebrated annually with the giving of gifts to children either on the eve or the morning of the 6th of December, so still on his feast date. And according to Wikipedia, I know we don't always like to use Wikipedia, but according to Wikipedia, Sinterklaas is an elderly, stately, and serious man with white hair and a long full beard.
Serious?
Serious. Yeah, that was
Aw.
the only reason I read out that quote, because it was just like, yeah, that's not what you think of. Like, it's
No, you wouldn't think he's
Santa
serious.
Claus is the ho ho ho.
Hey, I
Jolly.
suppose he's a great businessman, so
Good
Yeah,
point.
true.
Good point.
he's got to
I
run.
mean, you have to be serious sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can still be fun and serious.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
he's serious when it counts.
Yeah.
Do you
Tough
guys
but fair, I like to think.
yeah.
do you guys know how Sinterklaas
Klaus.
arrives in the Netherlands? He arrives in November.
Oh no, he gets lost.
But he comes via steamboat from Spain.
Wait. So is Sinterklaas Spanish, or is that just where his headquarters
That's
are?
sort of like where he's. I think that's a bit of both. I think that's where
Yeah,
they believe he
The
is
labour
from.
was much cheaper in Spain, so
And that's where, yeah. So
Wow. Then
There's-
again, like, what nationality do we think Santa Claus is? Like, he doesn't have a
some
nationality.
sort of Scandinavian thing.
He's
I
a citizen
imagine.
of the world.
yeah, that's right. So it's funny, just like such an old school, because a lot of the
comes from
traditions are just
Spain.
like, this is whatever was the cool mode of transport when we've invented this thing,
Yeah, sleigh.
and now that's the tradition.
Yeah.
No,
So-
this is on about you to see him. Hola,
He's
me llamo Santa.
Do you guys know about Sinterklaas's sidekick?
Oh, please tell me he's a little Spanish dog.
No,
Is it Dora the Explorer?
no, it's
Come on, that's
more controversial than that.
You bastard.
Dora the Explorer.
Who is this controversial
Sorry,
sidekick?
I'm just trying to get on a serious tone because it's kind of a controversial sidekick.
Oh,
Oh,
God,
no.
is it a bit racial?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, okay.
It dates back to the early 19th century, so not all that old. And his name is, I'm going to have a crack at the pronunciation, Zwarte Piet,
Zwarte Piet.
or the plural Zwarte Pieten.
There's two of him.
And Zwart, there could be many. It sort of feels like very
they're like
similar to the
little
elves. Yeah.
Elf type like things.
Zwart, but often it's just the one. Like it'll just be the two of them, or
Sure.
how they get about. I think that's where it came from. But the Zwart Piet is commonly portrayed by a man in blackface.
Oh, okay. That's
Some say the blackface is because he is being depicted as a Moor from Spain, which certainly doesn't make it any better. And others say that it is because his face has been covered by chimney soot.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, let's go with option 2, I reckon.
He just hasn't washed his face.
Yeah.
He's just a dirty little
He's
boy.
too busy.
It makes me feel so uncomfortable.
Too busy putting coal in that steamboat.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, there's something. It's so weird. It's like such a white country, or traditionally the Netherlands, and it's just like. Anyway, Sinterklaas and Zwarte Piet are typically depicted carrying a bag which contains candy for nice children and a broom used to spank bad kids.
So doesn't even leave. I thought it was going to it leaves brooms for the naughty kids, so they have to
No.
clean up. But no, it's like, come on, come here,
No,
you're getting your spanking.
He does the job himself.
Candy for you, I'll beat you in your bed. Psh, psh.
So it's kind of admirable in a way. Instead of just leaving coal, he gets the job done. Just give him a little whack.
Yeah, but imagine the parents, especially the poorer families, are like, probably would love some coal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cold.
Yeah. Good point.
The it does seem like a lot of this tradition goes back to parents just wanting to make their kids behave. Like Santa Claus is the same. He knows who's been naughty and nice, sort of thing. And I guess that's where it comes from.
That omitted third verse about beating you with a little broom handle.
Yeah.
He knows where your mum keeps the broom.
So yeah, bloody hell, do yourself a favour.
He won't hold back with force.
Brooms are big.
Yeah, brooms
Things
are
to hit
hard.
with.
It probably gets a good swing too.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know?
man.
Like a real run up.
Like watching a
His
kid.
steamboat is just fueled by broken broomsticks. Allegedly. A bunch of
That's
the...
right. No, I
This
don't
is
think,
all allegedly.
not going to get in trouble here.
Yeah. Admittedly, none of this is... Well, obviously, that's fact.
Yeah.
A bunch of the tradition, the Sinterklaas tradition, is thought to have come from the legend of Odin. So
Great, Odin's beard.
So all of it, the beard, for instance, the big white flowing beard. Some say that. So a few different things got merged together at some point in the past, like including Old Norse legend and stuff like that as well. Some of the similarities that are found on, I think it was again on Wikipedia, were between Saint Nick and Odin. And these things were supposedly happening when
Snowden.
Christianity spread through Europe. So Europe had their gods, and then Christianity came through, and they sort of held on to some things. A lot of Christmases just goes back well beyond Christianity. So here are some of the things that are similar between Odin and Sinterklaas. They both ride on the rooftops on a white horse. So that the Sinterklaas is on a white horse. Yeah.
Hang on, what happened to the boat?
The horse gets on
he
the
leaves
boat.
the boat.
Yeah,
the boat
with
at
his
the
big white horse
dock
that
and
can
he-
fly.
Flying white horse.
Seems weird. Like, why don't you just take the flying horse?
I suppose it might get tired.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
that's
true.
right.
It's a long way.
You've
And
got-
if you're just going from rooftop to rooftop, then the horse gets a chance to sort of have a break.
yeah, but you got to fly
Yeah.
from Spain. That's a couple of thousand kilometres.
Yeah, that's too far. No, absolutely. You need the boat for that one.
It's a while.
That's why steamboat, fastest mode of transportation. Basically a cruise ship. Santa Claus gives chocolate letters to children, and Odin gave rune letters to man. That feels
I mean,
long ago.
I'm a big chocolate fan, but I've never had a chocolate letter. What's that? It's a letter filled with chocolate?
No, it's just a
Like the
like a
letter
letter of the
M or a letter.
Yeah.
Ah.
That's how I read it.
Or is it like the 10 Commandments on concrete? Is it like a letter on chocolate?
Oh man, that'd be delicious.
Like, dear Jess.
How good would the a couple of tablets of chocolate? I'm so hungry right now
Yeah,
for
but
chocolate.
then would you eat it? What if it was a really nice letter?
Oh,
I'd definitely
no.
eat it. It would last about 5 seconds.
Okay.
I'd eat that
I
so
would-
hard.
Okay.
I
all
would
right.
eat it.
Never writing
line
you a letter
by
on chocolate.
line. Yeah, don't waste your chocolate.
No.
Don't waste it.
Just write you a bloody letter on paper like
Yeah.
a schmuck.
Send me a text and give us a block of Cadbury and I'll be really happy.
Okay.
And so the third one, again, the three. The third one was that they both carry a staff and have mischievous helpers. One of them, guards with black faces, and the other one,
Yes.
black
I'm waiting.
black ravens.
Oh.
So Odin had black ravens, and
Offensive to
Huggen
some.
and Munnin, that's not how they're pronounced. And they, both of those crews would report back to their master and tell what the people were doing. Were they being good or were they being bad? sort
Oh,
of
so
thing.
they're spying.
Yeah, they're spies.
So that's how he was finding out.
yeah, that was the thing that they
Little
did.
Zwarte Piet sort of peering at you through the window. They're kind
Yeah.
of like the SS Gestapo of the
Is that what the
14th
elves
century.
No.
do? Elves don't. How does Santa know?
He just
He just
knows.
He knows.
He's
Way
always
more efficient.
Yeah.
Way more. If you're gonna make something up,
just make it magical.
just make it the guy knows everything.
Yeah.
Otherwise, kids are just going to be scared of ravens.
Yeah.
Well, would
If
you
you're
already?
in
You
the
should
days
be.
of Odin. Yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of my superficial little rundown of Sinterklaas. So how do we get from Sinterklaas to Santa Claus?
That's the
know.
ultimate question.
Invent the letter A.
Yeah, that was it. That's it. All right, let's wrap it up.
End of pod.
End of
Thanks,
pod.
everyone. Nearly every episode at some point, I think it's usually me, isn't it? Just like, and we're done. See you later,
Yeah.
everybody.
All right.
Jess just likes to wrap it up really quick.
She's always got somewhere to be.
I'm a very busy lady.
I don't, so I demand you go on every time.
I'm
She
sorry. I'll
catches
stop
her
doing that.
steamboat onto her next gig.
Doot, doot. It's my little tugboat. Dog, dog, dog.
Tugboats.
So the Dutch brought the Sinterklaas tradition to America with them in the late 1700s. Makes sense. It was their thing. They just brought it out with them, and there was a big Dutch settlement called New Amsterdam. You heard of that?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard of it.
Well, I've heard of it in the sense that there's a restaurant here in Melbourne called New Amsterdam.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
there's like a bar.
A bar, yeah.
Apparently
pretty
that was what New York City was originally called, or
Ah.
that was where. Yeah,
And so where they settled is now New York City.
yeah. It was on Manhattan was New Amsterdam.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it feels like the Dutch just got everywhere and went, nah, not into it, and then
Bailed.
the British or whoever. That's what happened in Australia, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just don't
Van
like.
Diemen's Land and stuff. Yeah.
Well, they probably thought this is a long way for Sinterklaas to go on a steamboat
Yeah.
from Spain. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. He already has to get to the Netherlands in November just to get around to everybody. If he's got to then turn around.
I love how he gets there early, and he parades in the streets apparently
Yeah,
on his white
see,
horse.
Santa Claus is more humble. You know, he just kind of drops in, does his thing, and then he's like, no fuss.
As a kid, did anyone explain away why Santa Claus is in every shopping centre?
I
your
don't
parents
remember
give you a
that being
story?
explained.
the
or-
H word, helpers. is
Yeah,
what
that
I
was
heard.
Yes.
that's what they
Helpers.
gave me as
That's
well.
just a Santa helper.
Yeah.
You believed he was real until you figured out that it wasn't possible, and you asked the question, and then just to boost, give you another couple of years because
Yeah.
you're pretty much onto it at that point.
Yeah.
Your
But you
parents
think
are
if
everywhere.
you're too onto it, then you won't get presents.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Plus, I
worried.
Plus, you want to believe.
I wanted to believe so hard. I
Yeah,
was
it's
told
it's fun.
early
Yeah.
in early primary school. I remember a kid saying to me, "Oh, buddy, saw my parents give me the Santa." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Yeah, it was my dad, Santa. It's just had parents."
Oh, come on.
And I go to him, "This isn't how I found out. I mean,
Oh,
this
wow.
isn't how I first believed." Because I said to him,
Mate,
I fully believed in Christianity at the time. I was a big Jesus guy as a
As a
6-year-old or 5-year-old. And I said, if you don't believe in Santa Claus, then you don't believe in Jesus.
oh
Do
yes.
you not believe in Jesus, John?
Sounds like a Bible
And he's
You're
like,
parable.
so preachy.
I love the
He's like,
No.
yeah, I guess.
yeah, and he's like, well,
What
I've,
do you- anyway, I definitely saw my parents doing
Yeah.
it. So.
And John's like,
Well, did you?
I don't think you did, John.
What a I was such a fuck.
but John's like, I've never caught my dad dressing up as Jesus, so yeah, he exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just Santa, mate.
But I feel I believed on for a few years after that.
Good on you for persevering.
I think I loved it so much that I just, and I believed in Jesus till I was like 16. So that even longer than when I was.
John
believing
comes
in
down and
Santa.
goes, oh, you never believe what I saw on the bloody weekend.
Yeah.
It's just Dad.
Your dad is Jesus.
God damn it, John.
That was when he was 14.
That frees me of a lot of guilt. That's great. All right.
Oh, that Catholic
As
guilt.
a 16-year-old, yeah. All right. So yeah, I guess you can. It's obviously not a huge leap from Sinterklaas to Santa Claus. So I think it was just sort of the Anglification of his name. But the evolution of Santa still had ages to go because it was still this guy who was on a white horse, who was a serious guy, and had blackface helpers, which is Anyway, but a big thing, probably the biggest thing that shaped our modern vision of Santa Claus, happened in 1822. Do you know Clement Clark Moore?
It's a great name.
He wrote a Christmas poem for his children called An Account of a Visit from St. Nicholas.
It's a very boring title.
It
Yeah.
is. It's now better known as 'Twas the Night Before Christmas.
Much better ring to it.
Much
Yeah.
better.
So I didn't realize that, but everything in that poem was basically
It's true.
The first time. It's true. I didn't realize. But yeah, that is a factual account of a night
Before Christmas.
Yeah. So a lot of the things in that poem was just from his fantasy, and a few things he just sort of picked up from different bits and pieces and brought them all together. So that was the first time he was called called Jolly. He was a right jolly old elf. So, but he was seen as being an elf, like a small guy at this stage in this poem.
Oh, wow. So Santa was small.
Yeah, but after this poem, but not long after that he became the fully grown human man, and the
He grew
human
up.
magic man. Yeah. So in this poem, he had a portly figure. He was delivering presents on Christmas Eve with 8 flying reindeer and the ability to ascend a chimney. So he was he came up with the reindeer basically.
I feel like Dave's the kind of guy who can name all the reindeer.
Oh, good. Yeah, I was going to ask that.
Because
Do
I
you
don't
want
think
them?
I can. I reckon you can do it.
Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen. But do you recall? That's right, I had to sing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer when I was dressed in the fat suit.
Of course you did.
So
That's I know them all.
that was it in order.
Well done.
And so he, our man
Oh, so it was the night
Clement
before
Clark
Christmas.
Moore,
He named
He
him?
named him. That's where the names come from.
Now that is a
Wow.
legacy.
That's pretty cool,
That's great,
yeah.
right? But the original ones were called Dunder and Blixen,
Oh.
and they've been changed to Donner and Blitzen over time, probably because they sound slightly more like real words.
Dunder.
Yeah, that's right. Clement, come on, mate.
Come on, mate.
Come on,
Pull your
buddy.
head out of your
You
ass.
nearly got it there.
I mean, you're making up all this bullshit anyway, but come on, make it
Come on.
believable, would you?
Dunder.
Dunder, not a name.
Dunder.
Never heard of it.
Dunderstruck.
Dip, 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 dip.
Um,
That particular reindeer has an electric guitar.
Then so he's seen as one of the main guys who created this modern vision of Santa. The other guy was a political cartoonist named Thomas Nast.
Nasty.
Nasty. Yeah, nasty to his birds.
Yeah. His bros.
In 1881, he drew a cartoon that is the first representation, supposedly, of what we see as the modern Santa Claus. So his cartoon appeared in the publication Harper's Weekly, and it depicted Santa as a rotund, cheerful man with a full white beard holding a sack of toys. So here's the question. Who came up with the red colour of Santa's getup?
I believe it may be
The government.
Is it a
It's the man.
very
Which government? Which
American.
administration?
Oh, Nixon.
Yes, it was Nixon.
It's Nixon, his time at the top. I
That was
declare
what Watergate was all about.
my time
I
at the
found him
top. I'd like a red Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I think it may be a very successful American company.
Hallmark.
Possibly
It was Hallmark.
A drinks company, is it?
Coca-Cola.
Is it Coca-Cola?
That apparently, I fully believe that, but apparently that is a myth.
Oh.
Oh my God!
Apparently,
Really?
So
apparently
it
was
was Nixon.
apparently it was our man Nast had a lot to do with it.
Nasty.
Um,
Oh,
I'm a
nasty.
big fan of Snopes. Whenever I hear something that I'm not, you know,
Snopes.
Snopes.com. It's like a
like a
kind of like a
myth-busting
myth-busting.
Oh,
website.
cool, cool. Yeah, yeah.
So whenever you see something that's gone viral, before I'm like, that seems too good to be true or too fucked to be
You're
true or
like-
something like that. I'm like, I can't just enjoy this.
Yeah.
Do you just go into Snopes and you type in, "Is Steve Irwin dead?"
Yeah, yeah.
Well, he is. Okay, I can.
okay.
Yep, put the profile picture up. Here it goes.
That's right. Me and Steve.
You and Steve that
and
time.
a stingray.
Your time at the top.
A stingray.
Oh God.
Too soon, Matt. Nah, he's been dead
Come
for
on.
ages.
Nah, he's been dead for. He died in 2006.
That was a good year. Every
Rocky also died that year.
Oh God, not
I
a good
repeat.
year for
Good,
Aussies.
no.
Not a good year for
repeat.
big Aussies.
Good year. 10 years next year. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I'm assuming we'll have a public holiday.
Oh bloody hell!
Irwin Day.
Well, don't you have that? We have that feast every year. It's like St. Nicholas.
On his
Yeah,
death
that's
day.
the.
Isn't it?
Doesn't
Wouldn't
it
that be?
feel like you'd go the birthday?
Yeah, you
They
hope
probably.
so.
I don't know if they knew what day it was. I guess
Hmm.
they because there's no official record.
Hmm.
Did he even exist?
We're still talking about Steve Irwin, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Did he exist? Nobody knows.
So I'll just read another quote directly off Snopes if you don't mind. This is when I
Please.
looked up their CocaCola did Coke, because the idea was that Coke's famous red coloured cans and bottles back
That's
then.
what I assumed.
They
Till I was
brought it in.
snoped.
So this is what they said. It is not true in any realistic sense that Coca-Cola created the modern Santa Claus. They did not invent the now familiar rotund bearded fellow clothed in red and white garb, nor did they pluck him from a pantheon of competing visually different Christmas time figures and what a great way with words they have at Snopes.
Pantheon.
Figures and elevate him to the supreme symbol of Christmas gift giving. The red and white Santa figure existed long before Coca-Cola began featuring him in print advertisements, and he had already supplanted a bevy of competitors to become the standard representation of Santa Claus before he began his tenure as a pitchman for Coke.
Snoped.
He got snoped, or Coke got snoped. But yeah, it's
Coped.
I think I reckon that is a really widely held belief that Coke did come
Yeah,
up. I fully
definitely.
believe
Well,
it.
once you say it, I'm like, oh yeah, that would make sense. Like I would believe that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Because I think they used him in their advertising a lot, and I
Yeah.
reckon it definitely helped push it along as being right in the middle of the
zeitgeist of the
I was going to
time.
say zeitgeist. I'm going, should I have a crack at zeitgeist? It's one of those words.
Mate, you've nailed Sinterklaas
That's
today,
true.
so you're on
Zeitgeist.
fire.
All right, great.
You've fluently spoken Dutch today.
According to Britannica
I
again.
think this show might need a translation. It's so much Dutch.
Yeah. Look,
For our international listeners.
well, all right. I'll say this in what I assume is Dutch. Accounting to Britannica.
That's super racist.
Okay, good. Edit point. I feel it's funny how things don't feel racist when it's about a wealthy white
country,
nation.
yeah.
I think doing an impression of.
But here's my Vietnamese impression.
Yeah.
Racist.
I don't think that's racial. You're just not as talented as accents as I am, as you may have heard my terrible Richard Nixon impression about 5 seconds
I thought it was pretty good.
It was.
And your Santa Claus accent, as you said before.
Apparently Scottish. Was not even trying for that. Was not. That's how good I am.
You don't even try.
I won't even
You
try.
don't have to try and you know
Don't even
it.
have to try my racism.
Comes naturally.
Exactly.
I'm a natural racist.
Let's edit that out of
Yeah.
context.
Yep.
So according to Britannica, Nast was the one who gave Santa his bright red suit trimmed with white fur. Also, he gave gave Santa the North Pole workshop. He gave him elves, and he gave him his wife, Mrs. Claus.
You gave him a lot.
It's very
he-
generous.
Isn't that crazy? A political cartoonist it would have just the thing he did one
Yeah,
day.
he just whipped it up.
Wouldn't have thought it would have had any sort of lasting imprint, but it
And
changed
that's like
everything.
That's
that's
amazing.
his like a huge legacy.
Yeah. Nasty man. I found this kind of interesting. I looked up on the Coca-Cola website to see if they were at all claiming it, and they also said that it wasn't them. But they did say
Wasn't me.
in 1942, Coca-Cola, this is off the Coke website, they introduced a character along with their Santa in their advertisement called Sprite Boy.
Ooh. They weren't very creative, were they?
That sounds like a character I could play.
I was gonna say, Sprite Boy. That's the title for you.
And this was so this is in 1942, and that character appeared with Santa Claus in their ads throughout the 40s and 50s.
It's Sprite Boy.
And Sprite
The
Boy.
year is 1942. Oh, look, here's Santa Claus and his friend Sprite Boy.
And he got his name due to the fact that he was a sprite or an elf.
Yeah, okay.
And it wasn't
Sorry,
until the
I didn't know
60s
what a
that
Sprite
Coke
was.
even introduced the popular beverage Sprite.
Oh, it was pre-Sprite.
Yeah, it was pre-Sprite.
So
I thought it was
Sprite
just a
is named
horrible...
after an elf.
Yeah.
You used to think it was a horrible tie-in.
I thought it was a horrible tie-in.
Did you want me to do some more of my 1940s announcer voice?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
please.
Tell us about his little baby friend Lift.
And Fanta. Oh, I'm not doing it.
So that's pretty much all I was going to chat about Santa. There are so many other...
La Befana? Befana, I think, is the Italian. It's a woman.
oh, she's so good. And she's
Really?
like a little hunched over lady.
She's like a nonna.
Yeah, I love it.
And I'm pretty sure she gives presents, but I think there might also be food involved because Italian.
There's this one that I
Have a
really
basta.
like
They get presents and bread.
that also came in...
I think it's La Befana. I'm sorry if I said that wrong to any Italians. I might Google while you finish. Just
yeah, you Google.
I don't want to look like an idiot.
Yeah. So there's this one guy, Christ Kind, maybe Chris Kind.
I thought you were about to say Christ Boy.
A Christ Boy, which is basically what it is.
Oh my God, really?
Befana.
It's basically just a
Befana.
kind of like a godchild or something like that. Little Jesus, aka.
Oh man, this is another character I'm born to play.
Um,
Christ Boy. Is it Christ Boy? What's his name?
Christ Kind.
Christ God.
And he came about as well because of the Protestant Reformation in 16th/17th century Europe. And that was because they didn't want to be, they were they didn't want to be concerned with the saints. They weren't boosting up the saints, celebrating
right,
the
yep.
saints. They wanted just to be Christ and God and stuff. So it ended up being, that's when it changed from December 6th to Christmas Eve in a lot of places. Like the gift giving changed.
Oh,
And a little boy Christ Kind came around and
creepy.
dropped presents on you. Apparently, yeah, boom.
And I'm gone.
That's the catchphrase of Christ Boy.
He just throws you
Boom, and I'm gone.
a Tonka truck for you, Matt. And I'm gone.
What do I get? What do I get, Dave? What do I get, Christ Boy?
You want that Razor scooter? Uh-oh. And I'm gone.
I just said, oh.
And I'm gone. A boom. You got Christ.
See, I told you, I've just got this gift for accents. It's
You
amazing.
do. Character
know-
work is really
Oh, wow.
it's your strength.
Do you know what? I don't know. So hopefully you know what. Do you know Father Christmas, the British one? What was his catchphrase? What does he say when he drops stuff there? Jess, you'd know. You've got a British connection.
Daddy's home.
Yeah, that's it. I knew I'd remember it as
Not
soon as
great.
you
It's
said
not
it.
great. I
That is
panicked. I
all.
panicked.
Surely it's just a Merry Christmas and a few hoes.
I feel like
No,
Daddy's home
no,
slightly
no,
better.
no,
But...
no. Daddy's home is correct.
Oh, pardon me. Sorry.
But yeah,
Oh,
he's,
no, I'm sorry. He's British. Daddy's home. Still doing the really gangster hand gestures, though. Daddy's home, motherfuckers.
Daddy's home. Oh, Daddy. Daddy's home.
Cool, blimey. Daddy's home.
Home for Christmas.
Daddy's home, isn't he?
Home home from Oxford for Christmas.
So Father Christmas, the English one, it has no real connection at all to the Santa Claus story. It's a separate one, but now over time the two have kind of merged together.
People are doing a bit
and
of
Father
backstory.
Christmas has taken all like Santa Claus has kind of got a bit of globification going on. Globification?
Sure.
Globalization.
There it
Oh
is.
my god.
It's all good.
I was about to say goblification.
That's right. Globalization. Santa is the number 6 cause for CO2 gas emissions.
Yeah.
It's terrifying the planet.
So Father Christmas started a separate thing around 1,000 years ago, and
Daddy's home.
and he used to say Daddy's home, but over time that's been Americanified, and now
Beatles
it's just
voice.
Daddy's home. more American. That's
Daddy.
Daddy's home.
Daddy's home.
Hey,
Daddy's home.
children.
Okay, accents are not your strength.
Hey there. Hey there.
Oh,
Daddy's
Canadian.
Howdy, partner.
home.
No.
Alrighty.
No, okay.
Okie dokie, kitties.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
gonna.
Okie
Where are you
dokie,
from?
kitties. Get
Minnesota?
around me now.
You're going to.
Hold your beef, a couple of tweezers there for your catties.
All
Is
right,
that
Dad's got Irish.
Oh, dearie me.
Well, you've really scared a lot of generations around the world.
Okie dokie.
No, you're a bit Canadian.
Okie dokie. I'm just south of the Canadian border.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh my god.
It's not good.
Um,
Now
that-
I'm just worried Matt's having a stroke and we're just
No.
laughing.
I know. He's trying to get
Matt,
us
you
to
alright?
help him.
get in the car.
Get in the
My
car.
Boston. Get in the car.
What's the Australian Santa? Santa.
Santa.
And what would he
There's no
say?
T, Santa.
What's his thing?
All right.
Righto, righto.
Right,
Yeah, he says,
Tasha, get in the car.
Prancer.
I'll just be a GIF.
Get in the fucking car.
Get in the
fucking
car. Here we go.
Yeah.
Start her up. She'll be fucking right.
Alrighty.
She'll be right.
I'm a couple hours behind schedule. She'll be right.
Yeah, so I've found that interesting. I just thought Father Christmas and Santa Claus was the same thing.
Yeah,
but
but
apparently it's slowly becoming the same thing, but he started in a totally different spot.
Oh, that's
Just
interesting.
want to say, wouldn't it be so weird if you overlook all the other changes for you to come back to life in about 1800 years' time and your life story has slowly evolved into the millions, billions around the world celebrate it, and then people dress up in shopping centres
Yeah.
and you're like, that doesn't even fucking look like me.
That has
Yeah.
nothing to do with me, but
But
why are
that's
they calling
supposed
you my
And
name?
they're like, yeah, and
Old
it's
Sydney.
all come from you. So I suppose if you were...
Because one time
if you're...
you put together some briny boys.
That's right. You put them back together. You do one fucking miracle, and they're still talking about you in 1800 years' time.
Oh, let it go, people. Let it go.
Come on. I did other stuff. I was a bishop. Probably. I was probably a bishop.
That's
It's a
the
long
only
time
thing
ago.
I know for sure about myself.
But
I
is
was
I was
probably a bishop.
It's a long time ago. I got a pretty bad memory.
Is there anything else? Do you have any other knowledge? Like, I've found that I didn't know anything about any of that.
Yeah.
I assumed it went way back, not just a couple hundred years to New York City.
New
Is
York.
where a lot of that stuff is less than 200 years old. The
pretty
red suit, the flying reindeers.
And it's pretty
chimneys.
amazing how it spreads. Like it starts with something so small, and then now it's just what we accept.
And it just because it so happened in this relatively small period where the US was the dominant cultural power, in the history of the world, that's only going to be a blip. But because it was a blip at that time, maybe it's going to morph again. Maybe when China just dominates us with their culture, it'll become it'll change again over the
Yeah,
years.
maybe.
I don't know, I wonder.
I'm pretty sure that Santa is the most frequently appearing character in movies.
Oh, yeah, that would make
Like
sense.
on
too,
IMDb,
yeah.
it's got 800 something crazy. It's hundreds.
Tim Allen in the Santa Claus.
Great movie.
So 1, 2, 3, 3 credits right there.
Did you want to? Because you asked before how we found out.
Yes, that's why I thought that'd be a nice way to finish.
Mine's a little bit. It's not that interesting. It's that I found the wrapping paper that was used on the Christmas presents in the cupboard, and I was like, "Hang on a sec.
That's great.
What are the chances that Mum and Santa shop at the same place?"
Hang on, the
for-
North Pole's a long way away. They wouldn't have this paper there,
Yeah.
surely. He's
And
got
my,
his-
my brother's 7 years older than me too, so he had to keep it. He had to just keep a lid on it for
So
a
how
long
old?
time.
How old were you?
I reckon I was probably 7 or 8.
So he's
Is that old to have found out?
Not as old as me.
I reckon I had my suspicions, but that's sort of when I went to Mum, like, Mum, come on, tell me, I'm a big girl now.
well, I was not a big girl until I was 10.
You found
and
out
then-
at 10? That's all right.
Well, I was. I thought I reckon for 2 Christmases beforehand, I thought about it.
You had your suspicions.
Had suspicions, but I, like you, man, I wanted it to be real, and I remember exactly where I was. Took Mum aside into her ensuite off the master bedroom.
He's from the affluent east. So.
Oh no, my parents have
They-
always had an ensuite.
Oh my god. You're also
affluent
from the
east.
affluent east.
Took her aside, and I closed the door. She was probably thinking that I was about to ask like a question about what sex or where
Yeah,
babies
yeah.
come from, but I was like, Mum, is Santa real? And I was hoping that she was going to be like, of course it is, and I'd be like, great, run away, never asking him. She's like, I'm afraid not.
Oh,
And it was bloody heartbreaking.
Amanda.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's tricky.
that's right.
It feels like
No, she did the right thing though.
she probably did. I would have asked a follow-up question before giving. I would have said,
What do you
"Why
think?
do you ask?"
Yeah.
And
What
then
do
maybe,
you
yeah,
think?
what do you think?
What's John been saying now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
bloody John. But your sister, you have an older sister,
Yeah,
right?
she's 3. She's 3 years older.
So she had to
was
keep it quiet
early
too.
teens by this stage.
Yeah. Matt, how
And
did
I
you...
nearly spoiled it for my cousins one Christmas.
Oh, you got to be careful.
When I was about 14, and they're like between two of them, between 8 and like 11 years younger. So, you know, they're 6 and 3 or something. And then they're like, maybe I was 13, and they, because I wasn't trying to be a dickhead about it, but they were like, oh, this one's from Santa. And I'm like, haha, good one. Santa isn't real. And they're like, shut up. They didn't ruin it for him.
That's okay. But you nearly did.
I'd be feeling so guilty if I had.
See, on mum's side of the family, there's 12 grandkids, and I'm third. So, like, it was my job to shut the middle ones up, so they didn't say anything to the little ones.
Yeah.
So they'd they'd kind of, oh, look what Santa brought, and they'd do the eye rolling and stuff, and I would just punch them. I was like, you shut up, you don't ruin it for the little ones.
Yeah.
It is a mean thing. But then I thought, because I really genuinely never feel that excited, and it feels like this real magic thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like the gift of that is bigger than the fucking them over by lying to them.
And
Yeah,
all of
'cause
us
you're
have
not
turned
hurting-
out fine,
Yeah.
You're
having
not
found
it's
out.
not like a thing you're hurting them with a lie.
And maybe you
Yeah.
can sort of experience that wonder and joy again through him too, which would be so good. And I used to like lose my shit because we'd leave out a carrot,
Yeah.
and then like that mum would
bite or
like,
two,
yeah,
yeah,
and you'd
so
be like,
good.
oh, the reindeers ate the carrot. I left Santa a letter. He read it.
Isn't it? Doesn't that make looking?
And I'm gone.
I ate your cookies and I'm gone.
Daddy's gone. Is that what he said as he
Yeah,
left?
probably, yeah.
Daddy's home.
Daddy's
Daddy's
gone.
gone. But don't you think that makes it even cooler to think back and go, like, all the little efforts that your parents put
Yeah.
in?
And I
But
reckon I
also
checked
funnier.
the bin too. So I reckon they would have either had to eat it or dispose of it very craftily.
You
'cause I
were
would have
totally
checked.
the opposite of me, because I'm going, Closure, I believe in it. It's definitely true. Not looking for any evidence to prove
Yeah.
otherwise. But I remember one time, which I thought funny years later, when I thought back to it, Dad's like, I reckon Santa might want a Guinness tonight.
Ah, well played, Dad.
Yeah, well played.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
that
a-
was one of his Guinnesses,
yeah.
but still.
Yeah, you
weirder.
didn't have to go out and buy a Guinness, but
Yeah.
Dad was like, I don't want to drink the milk or pour it out because
Yeah.
that's wasteful. So just leave Santa a Guinness.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Santa wants some of the black stuff this year,
Yeah.
Matt.
He's had a long night, you know, like he's got to,
And you're thinking,
can't just be all sugar and milk.
is he under 0.05? Drink and drive, Santa. Bloody idiot.
Magic reindeer, they know where they're going.
They're fine. Put it into autopilot.
So I was told, I reckon I was about 5 or 6 when John told me on the quadrangle.
Yeah, what's John doing now? Probably in prison.
I think
Yeah.
he's doing pretty well.
No,
I've had nothing to do with
He's
him.
in
but
prison.
I'm sure he's doing quite well.
He's in prison. Or dead. Or both.
Yeah.
He's in prison.
Deservedly so.
In prison about to
Yeah.
be dead.
Okay,
When the inmates undoubtedly listen to this podcast and they're like, John, you ruined Christmas.
Not on.
Yeah.
I'm a shank ya in
John,
the showers later.
that's a pretty specific name. That must be you.
I don't know many Johns. Anyway, Matt, sorry, do go on.
So yeah, I reckon little things like that happen, and I would have seen. I reckon one time I saw a present that coincidentally was in my Santa's pillowcase. We weren't from the affluent East. You probably had stockings. We just used upturned
The Santa sack,
pillowcases.
thank
Yeah.
you. And my brother's was bigger than mine, and it shat me for so many years. Yeah, my brother's sack was bigger than mine.
And it shat you. My brother's big sack
Gave me
gave me
the
the
shits.
shits. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a sentence I thought I'd hear
That's
before
being
Christmas.
edited out and
Back in.
little tidbit somewhere else. Anyway, yeah. So
But you kept denying it to
I
yourself.
kept denying it, and I'm still fully blessed. And Christmases were good, so good. And I reckon my younger brother might have even caught on before I did.
How much
And
younger?
he's like nearly 3 years younger than me.
That's so great.
But the time I found out, I was in grade 4, so I would have been
9 or 10?
yeah, probably around 10.
Yeah.
That's right. That's when the real men find out, Matt.
And we got back in from lunch, and Miss Xavier
Oh no.
said to the class, "Now, obviously you're all old enough and smart enough to know that Santa doesn't exist, right?"
Oh, what
A teacher.
bitch!
Well, you would get letters from parents these days if that happened.
Facebook post from parents.
Oh,
tomorrow.
straight onto the school Facebook page.
That's no.
Obviously. And
And
did
then
you
that
just...
makes you feel like an idiot.
Yeah, did
'cause
you just
don't
have to, like,
know.
try and, like, hide...
You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no.
Yeah.
I was totally
And then,
like that. I
"Excuse me,"
remember the
and then you go
class
cry.
was just like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, joking back to years.
I don't know. Not an idiot, Ms. Xavier. Why are you even asking?
Oh, God, if anyone should be dead now, it's that woman.
Now I'm also imagining Matt as a 10-year-old, but just a smaller version, like beard and all. Just like a tiny little beard
Crying
at
into your
10-year-old.
beard.
And like his voice is that deep at 10 as well. Did you have glasses when you were little as well?
Nah, the
Glasses
glasses
were later.
I've only had them in the last couple of years.
Okay.
I held off.
Oh my God, so cute.
That
Yeah,
is
that was-
that's an awful story.
Yeah, that's really sad.
feel
And I
sorry
hope
for you.
Miss Saviour is out there and I hope she's dead.
Yeah. I hope she's in prison.
I hope she's dead.
She's out there
That
in a
fucking
shallow grave.
monster. I hope she didn't die of natural causes. I hope she met a really disturbing end. I hope an ex-husband came back for her. I hope she was stalked and murdered.
You can't say that. I was had some,
Merry Christmas. what a lovely way to finish.
Dave's face.
well,
I'm joking. Well,
I'm pretty much joking, probably.
one thing I know for certain is that I'm probably joking.
you were probably a bishop or joking. Well, that is the end
No,
of
fuck
our...
her, she deserves this. Okay, I'll let you actually wrap up. Sorry.
I can't believe we've come to the end of our first ever Christmas special, guys.
Oh, first of many, hopefully.
Thank you so
I
much.
put it up there with the Alf Christmas special, where he's mistaken for a toy and given to a young girl dying of cancer.
That's truly touching, Matthew.
Which is a better way to go than Miss Saviour.
Put it right up there,
And
for obvious reasons. There was death in both.
Yeah.
Poignancy. Bit
And
of
Alf.
pathos.
And
Alf.
Alf was in
Yeah,
Alf was
was
always
in
in
both.
I feel like Dave's slowly just giving up. Should we sing a carol?
Yes. We'll sing a carol underneath you, Dave.
Yeah,
you sign out.
what carol do you want to sing? I was just
name
thinking
me a carol.
Away in the
Away
manger.
in a manger.
Okay, go for it, Dave. We need to- okay. Away in a
so, guys, thank you so much for listening to our Christmas special for 2015. If you do enjoy the show, you can send us a little Christmas present by reviewing us or subscribing on iTunes. We love those 5 stars. And we're on Twitter, of course, at DoGoOnPod. Facebook as well. How long can I draw this out? How long are you going to keep singing in the background there? But we wish you all a very Merry Christmas. We'll be back next week with another episode from the fabulous Jess Perkins. Who knows who she'll wish death upon next week.
I hate you all.
And I say my name is Dave Warnocky. Thank you and good night and good luck. No, that's not Christmas. Oh my God. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
And a happy new year.
Except you, Miss Saviour. Yeah, my brother's sack was bigger than mine.